Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you will reshape the next 7 days of your life. 1 week, that's all it takes to become unstoppable. If you commit fully, completely, without excuses. Some people spend years searching for a breakthrough. You're going to build one in 7 days. But understand this, transformation doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It begins the second you decide you're done being average. So if you're ready, truly ready, these are the 6 non-negotiables. The moment your eyes open each morning, a silent decision is made. A contract you sign with yourself. Will today be dictated by habit and autopilot, or will it be sculpted by intention and discipline? Most people don't realize that the first 10 minutes after waking are the most powerful moments of the entire day. Not because of productivity hacks or morning routines you see online, but because of one truth: the state you choose in those early minutes becomes the energy that fuels every thought, every decision, every action that follows. If you reach for your phone, you surrender your attention before you even stand. If you groan, if you complain, if you drag yourself into the day, you program that heaviness into your nervous system. But if you rise with determination, before the excuses, before the resistance, you ignite momentum. And momentum, once activated, becomes nearly impossible to stop. That's why mastering your morning is not optional. It is foundational. It is the birthplace of power, confidence, and resilience. When I say master your morning, I don't mean creating a rigid schedule to impress anyone. There are people who check every box on a fancy morning routine but remain unfulfilled, unfocused, and ineffective. Mastery isn't about perfection, it's about intention. It's about designing your first moments to align with who you want to become. For 7 days, just 1 week, you commit to waking up with purpose. Not because you feel motivated, not because it's convenient, but because excellence demands consistency long before comfort shows up. You move your body, not to chase aesthetics, but to awaken your energy, to remind your mind that you lead, not laziness. You hydrate, not because influencers say so, but because your brain requires fuel. You write your priorities, not to check boxes, but to declare ownership of your time. You set the tone instead of letting circumstances set it for you. This act alone separates the unstoppable from the drifting. People who drift through mornings drift through life. Think about it. Every excuse you've ever made, every goal you've ever abandoned, every time you've sabotaged your own potential, it didn't start in the afternoon. It started in the morning, when you allowed negotiation instead of discipline. You bargain with yourself. 5 more minutes, 1 more scroll, I'll start tomorrow. When you negotiate with comfort, comfort wins. When you tolerate slack, slack multiplies. You know this to be true because you've lived it. You felt the heaviness of days where you woke up unfocused and rushed, how it created a chain reaction of frustration and procrastination. Now imagine waking up with structure, mental clarity, intentional energy. Imagine reclaiming the narrative of your mornings, taking control before fear, doubt, or distraction even have a chance to enter. That is the foundation of becoming unstoppable. Not talent, not luck, but the self-respect to start each day powerfully. Mastering your mornings is not glamorous. No one applauds you at 5 a.m., no one sees you resisting the urge to scroll through meaningless feeds. No one celebrates your invisible victories, the discipline, the clarity, the stillness before the world wakes. But those invisible victories build the internal muscle required to lead yourself. People crave confidence but avoid the actions that generate it. Confidence isn't born from affirmation, it's born from alignment. When your actions reflect your values, your mind learns to trust you. When you wake up, and honor the promise you made to yourself, your identity shifts. You stop being someone who hopes for change and become someone who creates change. That identity, once formed, becomes magnetic. It shapes how you speak, how you work, how you show up in every room. That is why mastering your mornings matters. It strengthens the beliefs you carry into every decision. The first few days will challenge you. Your old habits will cling to you like gravity. Your body will crave comfort. Your mind will search for excuses disguised as logic. I'll start next week, it doesn't have to be today. One morning doesn't matter. But understand this, breakthroughs hide behind resistance. Every time you overcome the urge to go back to sleep or pick up your phone, you train your brain to obey your goals instead of your impulses. That's neuroplasticity. That's rewiring. Every micro decision you make before sunrise is a declaration of self-leadership, and leadership starts internally. You cannot lead a business, a team, or a family if you cannot lead your own mornings. You cannot control outcomes if you cannot control your first hour. This week is not about punishment, it is about liberation. You are freeing yourself from patterns that have limited you for years, and when the week ends and you look back, you won't just see tasks completed or routines followed. You'll see a new mental framework forming. You'll feel a subtle shift, a quiet, powerful certainty replacing doubt. You'll notice that opportunities appear more clearly, decisions feel easier, energy flows instead of draining. That isn't luck. That's alignment between intention and execution. You've proven to yourself that you can command your mornings. And when you can command your mornings, you can command your life. Because the morning is symbolic. It represents discipline over impulse, self-respect over excuses, greatness over mediocrity. It is the training ground for unstoppable momentum. 1 week can transform your identity. 1 week can break patterns. 1 week can make you unstoppable, not because of what you do, but because of who you become in the process. This is where your transformation begins. Master your mornings, and you master your destiny. Distractions aren't harmless inconveniences. They are assassins quietly stealing your potential. They don't appear dramatic or destructive. They appear casual, convenient, just for a second. Every vibration, every notification, every pop-up is a hook designed to pull you away from your purpose. And every time you take the bait, even for a moment, you fracture your focus. People underestimate the cost of distraction because the damage is invisible in the moment. You lose a minute here, 10 minutes there, an hour to mindless scrolling, a conversation that drains your energy, a task you don't even remember starting. By the end of the day, you wonder why your dreams feel distant. It's simple. The things you say you want and the way you spend your time don't align. You cannot build an extraordinary life through fragmented attention. You become unstoppable when your mind becomes a fortress, unyielding, impenetrable, loyal only to your purpose. That requires elimination, not moderation. Distractions don't negotiate, they dominate. And they do so subtly until there's nothing left of your ambition but frustration. To become unstoppable, you must develop a mindset of ruthless protection over your focus. Ruthless doesn't mean cruel or extreme. It means unwavering. It means recognizing that every distraction is costing you something irreplaceable, time. You can earn money again. You can rebuild connections. But time is the one currency you cannot replenish. Every time you say yes to distraction, you say no to your destiny. That's not dramatic, it's mathematical. If you check your phone 50 times a day, losing even 30 seconds each time, that's 25 minutes lost. But we both know many people lose far more, scrolling sessions that start as a 2-minute break and end 45 minutes later. You promise yourself you'll stop, but you repeat it tomorrow and the next day until the habit becomes your identity. Distraction turns into procrastination. Procrastination turns into regret. That is the slippery slope that destroys dreams. Not failure, not rejection, but distraction. Because distractions offer comfort disguised as connection, validation disguised as entertainment, escape disguised as relaxation. And that is dangerous. This week you're not just limiting distractions, you're eliminating them with precision. That means intentionally removing access to anything that weakens your focus. Turn off notifications that don't serve you. Put your phone across the room when working. Schedule social interactions instead of reacting to every message instantly. Learn to say no without guilt, because the people who can't respect your priorities never supported your purpose. Distraction isn't only digital, it's people, habits, environments. Think about your surroundings. Are they designed for productivity or chaos? Is your space cluttered? Does your mind feel scattered the second you wake up? Environment shapes behavior more powerfully than motivation ever can. If your space invites distraction, discipline becomes a daily battle. But when your environment reinforces focus, distraction becomes irrelevant. Create the conditions for concentration, because excellence is rarely born from convenience. It's born from intentional design. The next step is internal awareness. Eliminating distractions isn't just physical, it's psychological. You must confront why you seek distraction in the first place. Distraction often masks emotional discomfort, fear of failure, fear of success, perfectionism, insecurity. When a task feels intimidating, your mind searches for escape routes disguised as productive tasks, reorganizing files, checking emails, watching motivational content. It feels responsible, but it's avoidance in costume. If you want to eliminate distraction, you must learn to tolerate discomfort without retreating. That means noticing the moment your mind reaches for escape and choosing to return to the work anyway. That moment when you resist the urge to distract yourself is where discipline is forged. That one decision seems small, but repeated over days, it rewires your brain. You stop seeking escape and begin seeking progress. You stop fearing discomfort and begin chasing mastery. That is the essence of becoming unstoppable, not perfect execution, but consistent resistance to distraction. Eliminating distraction also requires redefining relationships, with time, with urgency, with attention. Many people treat their attention as an open resource, available to anyone who asks for it. That mindset is a direct pathway to mediocrity. Your attention is your most valuable asset. It determines what you build, who you become, the impact you make. If anyone can access it at any time, you are not leading your life, you are reacting to it. Unstoppable people are intentional about where their attention goes. They schedule blocks of deep work. They protect boundaries. They understand that saying yes to everything is a slow form of self-betrayal. You must learn to protect your concentration the way an athlete protects their body. With vigilance, with discipline, with self-respect. When distractions no longer have instant access to your mind, your goals finally do. Focus is freedom, because the moment you control your attention, you control your future. When you eliminate distractions ruthlessly for 7 days, something remarkable happens. Clarity returns. You begin to notice how much mental noise you were tolerating. You feel your creativity sharpen, ideas flow more freely. Tasks that once felt overwhelming now become manageable because your mind can actually stay present. You start finishing what you start. You stop postponing your dreams. You experience productivity not through forced discipline, but through empowered momentum. And once you feel that kind of aligned focus, you never want to go back. You realize your potential was never limited by ability. It was limited by fragmentation. You always had the capacity. You simply had the uninterrupted attention to unlock it. And when you claim that attention, when you guard it fiercely, you step into a level of power most people never access. Because distraction is the enemy of greatness. Eliminate it, and your potential expands. When you take back control of your attention, you take back control of your destiny. This is the beginning of becoming truly unstoppable. Discomfort is not the enemy. Discomfort is the threshold between who you are now and who you are meant to become. Every dream you've ever wanted, every breakthrough you've ever imagined, lives on the other side of discomfort. Yet most people spend their entire lives running from it. They seek comfort in habits, in routines, in excuses that masquerade as reasons. They cling to familiar pain rather than unfamiliar potential. Why? Because uncertainty terrifies them. The discomfort of effort, of risk, of vulnerability feels unbearable. But here is the truth no one wants to admit. Discomfort will find you whether you choose to face it or not. You can suffer the discomfort of discipline today or the discomfort of regret tomorrow. One leads to growth, the other leads to self-betrayal. To become unstoppable, you must stop treating discomfort as a warning and start treating it as a compass. When your mind resists, when your heart races, when your excuses get louder, that's the moment to lean in, not back away. That is your opportunity for evolution. Think about the most powerful moments in your life, the times you surprised yourself, overcame a fear, accomplished something difficult. None of those moments were born from comfort. They were born from courage, from vulnerability, from stretching beyond your perceived limits. That discomfort demanded resilience, demanded focus, demanded that you stop negotiating with fear. Human beings grow when they are challenged. When muscles resist weight, they strengthen. When minds resist doubt, they sharpen. When hearts resist fear, they expand. Discomfort is not punishment. It is the training ground of destiny. But we've been conditioned to avoid it. We numb ourselves with distractions, we justify stagnation, we tell ourselves we'll act when we're ready. But readiness is a lie. No one wakes up ready to transform. Readiness is built through action. It is born in the fire of discomfort. You step forward scared, uncertain, unprepared, and through movement you become capable. That is the paradox of growth. You earn the skill only by enduring the discomfort of not having it yet this week. You are not simply enduring discomfort, you are chasing it, actively seeking it. That means doing the thing that makes your stomach tighten, the thing you've avoided for months, the thing that threatens your ego. Call that client, start that project, register for that class, apologize, take responsibility, say the words you've been afraid to say, begin before it feels safe. Every time you choose discomfort, you expand your capacity. Your nervous system adapts. The fear response lessens. The unknown becomes familiar. What once intimidated you becomes your new normal. That is how confidence is built. Not through affirmations, but through evidence. The evidence that you can survive discomfort. The evidence that you can act while afraid. When you chase discomfort intentionally, you reshape your identity. You stop identifying as someone who avoids risk and start seeing yourself as someone who embraces challenge. That identity shift is the foundation of unstoppable momentum. Understand that discomfort is not chaos, it's feedback. It tells you where your growth lies. It exposes your weak points not to shame you, but to strengthen you. It points to areas you've neglected, skills you must develop, habits you must break, conversations you must have. Discomfort reveals the truth. And the truth is that your comfort zone is not a boundary, it is a coffin. Dreams suffocate there, slowly and quietly. Potential rots there. And every year you retreat into comfort, the cost increases. Your ambition dims, your belief weakens, your identity becomes static. The human spirit is not built for stagnation, it is built for expansion. If your life feels empty or dull, it is not because you lack purpose. It is because you've stopped pursuing discomfort. You've stopped challenging yourself emotionally, intellectually, financially, physically. Growth requires tension. It requires stretching. It requires stepping toward the unknown with courage, not apologizing for wanting more. You were not meant to shrink. You were meant to evolve. There is a profound psychological transformation that occurs when you repeatedly choose discomfort. Your internal narrative changes. The voice inside your head shifts from "I can't" to "I can learn," from "it's too hard" to "difficulty means opportunity." You begin to trust your resilience. You realize setbacks are not signs to quit, but invitations to adapt. Each failure becomes feedback. Each challenge becomes preparation. You stop fearing obstacles and start using them. That shift is what separates those who talk about transformation from those who live it. Most people crave success, but refuse the discomfort required to earn it. They want rewards without the risk, progress without the pressure, achievement without the adversity. But that is not how transformation works. You cannot bypass discomfort and expect growth. You cannot stay safe and expect change. You must embrace discomfort as a mentor, a messenger, a mirror, reflecting who you must become. When you accept discomfort as a necessary companion, fear loses its power over you. When this week ends and you reflect on the discomfort you faced, something profound will awaken within you. You will see that the moments you wanted to avoid were the very moments that built you. You will recognize that courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that something greater than fear deserves your devotion. You will understand that every successful person you admire walked through discomfort repeatedly and intentionally. They didn't succeed because they were fearless. They succeeded because they acted in spite of fear. And if you commit to chasing discomfort for just 7 days, fully, unapologetically, you will experience a shift in identity. You will stop waiting for permission. You will stop shrinking to fit expectations. You will reclaim your power and move toward the life you are capable of living. When you choose discomfort, you choose growth, and when you choose growth, nothing can stop you. Your mind is your most powerful asset, yet most people starve it. They feed their bodies, they feed their insecurities, they feed their distractions, but they neglect the very engine that drives